was already thinking about this. When I had a conversation with my mother, she kind of confirmed it. Like, esoterically, we found out we're also part Russian. Yeah, that's very bizarre. Back in intermediate school, I remember, like, I injured my foot one time, like, pulled a muscle in my ankle, and, like, I couldn't walk on it that day. I was, like, limping around, and then they were pulling me down the hill at my intermediate school. They put me on a cart, and they were pulling me, and, like, had the teacher there, or, like, some attendant from the office and everything. And then, like, a couple of my friends were pulling the cart. And then afterwards, she asked me, "Oh, are you Russian?" I was like, "No, not that I know of." And she says, "Oh, that's funny. Like, I thought they were calling you Russian or something." And and then, like, some of the earliest things I remember, like movies my grandpa let me watch, Diamonds Are Forever. Like, I must have been maybe 2, 3 years old. The part that spooked me in that movie was where James Bond almost gets cremated alive. You know, in this funeral home and everything. And then that cremated alive theme has been reoccurring, like, throughout my life, throughout almost everything. Like, it appears. Like, I read, like, one of the continuation James Bond novels, No Deals, Mr. Bond, and, like, that one came out in 1987, the year I was born. Strange coincidence. And that book makes a reference to it. Like, Bond tells this Soviet guy, Colonel, who's actually a good guy, but he's a deep undercover agent. He says, "Oh, so what, like," he says, "did you learn your skills on that Kondanka airfield, Colonel? Like, the place where all of you wind up one way or another, in the crematorium, either alive and screaming or neat in a box." Like, that reference again. Like, what are they trying to terrify me of and everything? Think about it. Like, and then recently, for some reason, like, this, like, last year, I had, like, one thing after another was like, ooh, I should watch the X Files for some reason. I just had this urge to watch the X Files. I'm watching through it. They have the episode Hell Money. Has anyone seen that episode Hell Money? Like, where basically, like, this secret society lottery, Chinese run and everything, for organ donations. They wind up basically, like, if people try to talk about it or whatnot, they wind up being taken away by these ghostly spirits, and they find themselves trapped in an operating crematory furnace, burning alive and everything. Like, all this symbolism there. Lupin the Third, this animated series that I was a big fan of and everything at one time. There's this one episode about this. It's called The Second Time Around in the American translation, or Lupin Who I Loved in the original. Basically, it has to do with, like, this old flame of his, this girl who is actually a daughter of this Nazi war criminal who's doing experimentations, trying to create an army of zombies and whatnot, and, like, digitizing the human brain, transferring it to computer. Like, that's the key to immortality. That's what he thought. And he's using this mortuary in Venezuela as a front, to sell, like, illegal artworks, like Nazi treasures that were stolen from the war. And what happens is, to infiltrate, like, that facility, Lupin smuggles himself in a coffin, and he winds up, like, they figure out, oh, he's trying to get in there and everything, so they send that coffin straight to the crematory and everything. You see that again, that cremated alive reference and everything. But all these guys, they escaped from that. They escaped from that. But what are they trying to, like, instill in me? And, like, look up mind control and everything. Mind control, MK Ultra program and whatnot. That the government admitted to that. That's not no joke or anything. They admitted to that mind control. Maybe they admitted to that so that people would stop asking questions about it. They would say, "Oh, yeah, the government wouldn't do that." Well, you'd be surprised what this government is capable of. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. This world, this existence, is not what we thought it was. Where, like, my mother, she's had, like, like, in a sense, mental problems throughout most of her life. Guess where she was and everything? University of California. That's where all these psychiatrists and everything, like, they tended to her and whatnot. Like, when she was pregnant, I guess that's where, with me, that's where the doctors and everything, like, they dosed her with, like, when she was pregnant with me, she had a seizure, I believe, and they said, "Oh, like, you were dosed with, like, the most antidepressant, like, your blood level was the highest of this particular antidepressant of anyone on the planet." That's what the doctor told her, in a sense. And, like, oh, it's a wonder, like, nothing bad happened and everything. But, did that have an effect on me? Like, I have no idea. And then you hear all these things about, like, like, all these secret programs and whatnot. Like, what are they trying to do? Like, eugenics experiments and whatnot. Like, it's truly bizarre. Like, and University of California, like, if you dig deep enough, it's actually a front. It's one of the leading centers for CIA experimentation on mind control in the nation. Connect the dots and everything. And for some reason, just by happenstance, like I became aware of certain things that were going on like earlier this year, and like I saw these patterns, like they just became too blatant to me, and like I don't want these whoever the system or whatnot to dictate who I am. I give definition to who I am. This sounds crazy and everything, but like it all adds up in a sense. For some reason, like what was going on this past holiday season, there was that whole standoff in Korea. Over the years, I don't know why, a lot of Korean friends came into my life. I trust most of them by and large, but some of them, they were very bizarre. Like one of them, he was working at this restaurant. He would bring over food. He would say, "Oh, here, eat this, or something." I'd be like, "No, I don't want to eat that." He's like, "No, here, please try one bite, one bite." And I would say, "Okay." I would eat it. And afterwards, everything would start feeling weird, like, like almost as if like I was on something or something just after eating this food and whatnot. And like sometimes he would go off like, "Oh, I gotta go use the restroom." He would be gone for 20 something minutes, then he would come back and whatnot. And like, I was wondering like, what is he doing and everything. And then afterwards, like, sometimes I would like the easiest way if I'm thirsty, I would go to my bathroom, grab some water and drink it, from the faucet and everything. Afterwards, I would get weird feelings, like almost as if he was dosing me with something, maybe he was like putting something in the water or something. And like all these crazy things, like all these people in my life, like maybe for their own safety and everything. I'm not going to mention anything about who they might be, but I had a friend, he was connected, Army Intel and everything. We were friends on Facebook, but now we're not friends anymore and everything. After I sent a message to one of my other friends saying, "Hey, something big is going on, something really big is going on," then boop, he just disappears, Like I cannot, like he's probably blocked my account now and everything. And he wanted to get me into military intelligence and everything. And like, I said, "No, that's not me. That's not me. That's not who I am. That's not who I am." And people that have come into my life throughout my years, like even like like some women that like I don't want to endanger anyone, but people, like it's just crazy how connected, like it all goes back to all that. Like like even now you see, look, who knows, maybe they're beaming some frequency in me, or I don't know, maybe it's me. I don't want to endanger certain people, because the truth about this, everything is so compartmentalized. It's like the government, the left hand does not know what the right hand is doing. The left hand does not know what the right hand is doing in a sense. Like all these people who might be operating HARP or like flying these chemtrail tankers and whatnot, spraying us all, they have no idea. They're just as in the dark as we are, They're just told, do this, do that. It's the system, There's a grand scheme from the top down. All this like little orders trickle down. They have no idea. That's why you can't really, don't hate. Don't hate. We have to come from a place of knowledge and awareness about what might be really happening. I don't care about my credibility. I don't care if they come after me and everything, because the truth is, if you fear them, if you're paranoid of them, then boom, they're going to descend on you. But, I don't care. I really don't care what they have in store for me. I don't care. I really don't care. I really don't care. But, it's like the chance that other innocent people might be hurt, that's what I don't want, If, like, I don't care. It would be worth it to me. Like, if like all what I'm doing, like people say, "Oh, don't focus on the negative, focus on the positive and everything." I do